Hey, this is Christopher Scott. I am the cinema arts mentor and director of Endgame. And what I'm going to do here is just roll through our dailies and give a little commentary. So you can see here, this is our first day out. This was in February of 2016. And this project all started with my student, Jackson Sperling, who had helped us on another film with another student. He was an extra in Mech, which we did in 2015. And he came to me in 2016 and said he'd like to start a series of classes and asked me if I could help him make a movie about his hunter character from Destiny, the video game. So that's what we set out to do and spent on average 2 hours a week for almost a year. A couple of those weeks we would do 4 hours. And so this was, as you can see here, we had just started building his costume and finding locations. So we both had this idea for this location here. My son used to play paintball here, and he always told me, "Dad, you should make a movie there. You'd love it. There's these really cool cars turned over up against the trees in the woods. You'd totally like it." And so eventually I hiked up there and saw it. And when Jackson came to me about making the
all right, keep moving in on it.
This little short film, I immediately thought of this location,
All right, rush it.
which is also was close to where he lives, so it worked out. So yeah, this was the first day we hiked up there with his work in progress costume, and I just grabbed my Canon 5D Mark II. I might have had a 50mm. No, I think I had a 35mm lens on here. And yeah, so basically we just started working out some camera angles and got him practicing some of the motions, kind of figuring out. We had already had the basic idea. He definitely wanted to have a shootout with him and some alien characters. And so we pretty quickly came to the idea of having 3 or 4 drags that could all be played by one other person in one costume, and we just show one drag at a time and basically have a series of drags going up to kind of like the boss drag.
And action.
And we just used what we had available to us and made this short film. So we were going to use one character in a costume for all 4 drags. That's just the way it was.
Ready, action.
Yeah, so we were going to work our way up the hill. So it's kind of a king of the hill where there's 3 drags established up the hill through these woods, one at each car. And then there's one up at the main fort. And so basically Jackson just wanted to go through and blast them and have some fun making a little action film. So yeah, I was kind of working out how the progression of the camera angles, and we're talking about where the boss fight might be, that sort of thing, and then trying to utilize the light that was available to us in the woods here. It's a really beautiful sunset that happens right there to the west through those trees.
So you got your gun out.
So I knew I wanted to utilize that with the sun in the background and him coming into the forest. As you can see in the final movie, we actually used it as the exit, which makes more sense. After he kills the final boss, he walks out in that direction.
Action.
Walks off into the sunset.
And then don't forget to shoot at me.
So yeah, this is 6 minutes and like 40 seconds of potentially usable footage that we got on our first day out. Just exploring the location and practicing some different scenarios. Basically, it gave him a chance to run around and practice some acting, and then it gave me a chance to try out some different camera angles and whatnot. Not that we intended to use any of this in the final film, but I probably brought home 15 or 20 minutes of footage this day and just cut it down to what you see here.
Nice.
So anyway, it was fun. I really liked hiding. The second drag hides behind this car. And I was really interested in getting some shots through the structure of that abandoned car. And I got a couple. We ended up not using them in the final film. Was really interested too. Here you can see I'm just running with just a little handheld rig for my 5D. It's a little shaky. I had planned on using some type of a stabilization for the camera, but it ended up not working out. So again, just use what we had, which was a basic shoulder rig. And then I also built this kind of two-handed run and gun rig, and that's what we used for the entire piece. Oh, we actually did use a jib also for 2 or 3 shots on one day, and one of them ended up making the final cut. So you could tell there he was practicing going into a box. We knew we wanted to have the last drag drop from the trees and kind of have a hand-to-hand combat. I was really interested in seeing him in kind of a knife fight. Thought that would up the stakes a little bit. Right at the moment when he finds what he's looking for, the dreg falls in and he has his final fight. Gets what he came for and walks away. So yeah, there you go. That's our first daily. Kind of getting everything started. Back then we were calling it Jack's Destiny Hunter. Still working out the costumes, still working out the story, and figuring it out. So yeah, check back next week, and I will have the second of this series of dailies, and you can see how each week, each month, we progress from the very beginning to the final piece. Cool, thanks for watching and listening, and check back for more. I think I've got 9 or 10 dailies that I plan to put up on the channel as time allows. So subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.